Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Aswanie binti Muhammad Azlan. My matric number 2617023. Our group will discuss about remittance can reduce poverty and meet other development objectives in recipient nations. So I will start with the introduction. Remittance refers to the payment of money such as an invoice or bill transferred to another party, usually in other country. In short, a sum of money sent by someone who is working abroad to their family. Typically, remittance often exceed direct investment, become part of a major source of income to communities in developing and low-income countries, and also exist in international development. On the other hand, foreign remittance refer to money transfers to their family members or other individuals in their country of origin from foreign workers. As measured by gross domestic product (GDP), remittances are a part of a major and important contributor to economic growth in most countries. Remittance transfers to their country of origin of these migrants are usually spent to cover the necessities of life such as clothing, food, and so on. Economic development can be promoted through this remittance by providing assistance in opening bank accounts to those living in less developed countries. Electronic payment system through money transfer service or banks are a usual way to make remittance, where each transfer may take 10 minutes to reach the recipients. Usually, those who use this method will be charged. Existing remittance flows are more or less stable regardless of the economic situation of the recipient country, since remittance can be received directly by the poor. They are expected to reduce poverty. The potential for expansion and poverty will be reduced through low-scale immigrants and remittance recipients is poor. Most remittance recipients are low-income families and individuals who use the money for personal development, education, and investment. With the increase in disposable income, their consumption and savings are also increased. Remittances are also considered one of the sources to finance development, especially in fulfilling infrastructure development projects. The bank also strives to place emphasis on infrastructure development, which is a major payment. This is because to ensure that this infrastructure meets the needs of economy effectively and relevantly. Not only that, by prioritizing payments, this infrastructure can drive high efficiency in payment and financial services. Thus, remittance become an important factor in the global economy, where they can reduce poverty, meet development objectives, and help drive growth abroad and within the country. That's all from me.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Norzilah binti Zaini. My matric number is 262980. Today I will present my part, which is literature review. Remittances, poverty and welfare. According to Waters 2010, remittances can be used as a source of household income or as a form of money transfer by immigrant. They will evaluate migration prospect and immigrant income to be considered as an option if net immigrants to their homes do not migrate, when prospective replacements are people who are comparable to those at home. This has been said like money transfer modification, on the other hand, will be made externally as a direct action to contribute the distribution of household income or poverty experienced by household, but economic difficulties will not be addressed and people will not migrate. O'Brien and Singh, 1980 claims that remittances from urban-rural areas have expanded, the inequality between the rich and the poor in rural communities in Punjab, India. They compared the Gini coefficient without remittances to Gini coefficient with remittances. Judge 1986 said that migration should not have an adverse effect on the well-being or benefit of people who remain behind. This is because their profit from migration, even if the remittances are not received, if the remittances are in excess of essential amount. Remittances and foreign exchange. According to Mayer 2016, positively evolving remittances concentrate on the influence of financial institution expansion. The use of remittances as foreign cash, the doubling effect of consumption, and the function of remittances as a substitute for lowering individual credit limits. However, some of countries do not provide microfinance services. Makun 2018 said that foreign imports such as intermediate inputs, capital goods, and other items have a substantial impact on the home country. It will have far-reaching consequences for the economy as a whole. Research remittances, foreign direct investment, economic growth, and the long-term link between import and essential. This is because remittances will have an impact on the country domestic income. Remittances and GDP. Khalid et al. 2011 investigate the link between remittances and financial institutions and the GDP growth. According to the studies, the fact that remittances are pro-cyclical indicate that they have a favorable impact. Meanwhile, remittances are increasing in the country of origin. If a country economy deteriorates, the impact of remittances also will be decreased. Refers to the Clements et al. 2018, immigrants send money back to their home countries in the form of remittances. They are employees and family personal savings that are spent in the nation of origin on food, clothing, and other necessities, and which drive the domestic economy. Endogenous bias could be indicated by gross regression and air delivery. It has the potential to boost GDP and to reduce the poverty. Remittances from people working abroad provide much needed sources of import funds for most undeveloped countries. In other cases, remittances from the developed world outnumber purchases and not and only foreign direct investment (FDI) outnumber remittances, while remittances help to increase the growth. In many real-world migration corridors, the net effect of remittances isn't always positive. Even if it is, the overall effect is unlikely to be large enough to be noticed in cross-cousin studies. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nancy Muhammad. My number is 2521113. So now we're gonna explain about trends in migration. First trend is migration flow. The second one is a labor migration, and the third is refugee movement and forced displacement. Migration inflow in 2019 around 12.5 million new temporary and permanent migrations entered G20 countries in 2019, a 10% increase over the previous year. The United Nations and Saudi Arabia are the two leading G20 destination countries. However, the migration composition between these two countries is quite different. The family migration accounting more than 67% of permanent flow and more than a third of all flow in the United States, whereas Saudi Arabia statistics covers only work permits, mostly migrant work from the Asia. The pattern is also significantly different in migratory flows in the United States, by 60% declining in 2019, increasing 49% in Saudi Arabia. The total migration in Brazil surged 50% to the Russia Federation, which is 33%, and Turkish 23%. For the second year route, the new permanent and temporary migration flow to Germany also for somehow negative 3% in 2019. And in 2012, on primary increase migration to Spain, which is 18% in 2019, and United Kingdom, which is 14%. Labor migration. Migrant workers made up 20% of all workers in Northern America and 17.8% all workers in Northern and Southern Western Europe. In 2015-16, foreign-born doctors and nurses are counted to be 33% of doctors and 22% of nurses in the United Kingdom. In 2016, the majority of foreign-trained doctors in the United States and the United Kingdom were educated in Pakistan and India. The foreign-born workers made up 9% of all skilled in agriculture, forestry, and fishing sector in these 5 nations. Migrants are accounted for 13% of all key workers in European, and women accounted for 3 to 5 out of every 7 foreign-born workers in surface and sales countries in the most OECD countries hit by the crisis. Refugee movement and forced displacement. By mid-2020, there has been 26.3 million refugees in worldwide, including 5.7 million Palestinian refugees and the UNRWA Authority, with an increase about 250,000 refugees since the last point in the late 2019. This surge is primarily due to the fresh surge in Africa Sahel region. 7.6 million refugees were sponsored by G20 countries, accounting for roughly 37% of all refugees under UNHCR mandate, and the majority of them were in Turkey. A new displacement and scarcity of a long-term solution for refugees both led to the overall increase in the number of refugees in crisis-affected nations. Furthermore, during the first 6 months of 2020, the resettlement nation accepted a small number of refugees for resettlement than in the past, and the countries of the first asylum strike in integrate displacement population. Trends in remittance. Remittance is the savings of workers then sent to their home countries to assist their families and meet their necessities such as food and health. Besides, the turn of remittances are likely to become even more important as a source of external finance to low-middle-income countries, as drop in foreign direct investment is expected to be even more greater than 35%. Remittances to the LMIC surpassed the FDI in 2019, marking a significant milestone in tracking a source flow to developing nations. Remittances to the low-middle-income countries are expected to recover in 2021, rising by 5.6% to $470 billion, according to the World Bank. In the first quarter of 2020, the global average cost of sending $200 remained high at 6.8%, just marginally lower than the previous year. Regional remittance trends. Remittances to East Asia and Pacific increased by 2.6% to $147 billion in 2019, down to 4.3% from the previous year, and fell estimated by 7.9% in 2020, around $136 billion due to impact of COVID-19. Remittance in the fourth quarter of 2020, the average cost of sending $200 in the region declined slightly to 6.9%, according to the World Bank remittance price worldwide. Remittance to Central and Europe Asia countries remained strong in 2019, increased by around 6% to $65 billion. Ukraine remained the region's top beneficiary of remittance, with about $16 billion received in 2019. The first quarter of 2020, the average cost of transferring $200 to ECA region fell somehow 6.7% to 6.48% a year early, according to the most recent or monthly data from central banks. Officially recorded remittance flow to Latin America is about 103 billion in 2020, an increase of 6.5% from 2019. Remittances flow to Latin America have remained resilient and have become even more important as source of external financing.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Acamar Belong Hamza, metric number 269773. I will present about the impact of remittance on poverty in the recipient country. So this chapter discuss briefly worldwide migration pattern and transfer trend, and the important part was the impact from remittance toward poverty, education and health, sustainable economic growth. This is some data of migrant remittance inflow in the several countries from 2016 until 2020. In the 2016, the World Bank estimate that migrant paid 440 billion US dollar and then will be increasing for 539 billion US dollar for 2020. In the certain country, receive amount to more than 20% of the gross domestic product, and we can quantify that as a percentage of GDP. The top recipient of remittance in the table 1 in the 2020 were Tajikistan with 27.3%, followed by El Salvador 24.1%, Nepal 23%, Moldova 16%, and another country recorded below 10%. And then next we go to the remittance flow to low and middle income country. Graph 1 below about the number of remittance that have been recorded from 1990 until 2019. We can see that the amount of remittance is increasing every year. It can be seen that the movement of remittance to low and middle income country increasing every year. Therefore, the increasing will give the recipient country, especially household, able to cover the daily life. This increase also means that as a recipient country, they also can have benefit from the improvement in the living standard of its people. This increase will bring a progress in the local economy. And then we go to the use of a remittance in a recipient country. They have several empirical research indicating that the recipient families might treat the remittance differently from other revenue resources. For example, shown that Nigerian households spend the bulk 58% of the funding of basic consumption and healthcare, and 16% on the education. And then the Reserve Bank of India 2020 research revealed that around 61% of the transfer are utilized for family maintenance in India, whilst 27 are made available for saving and investment. And then the Inter-American Development Bank 2003 research revealed that 78% of transfer were for normal expenditure in Mexico, while 7% were spent on the education and about 10% was saved or investment. We can see the impact of remittance on the education. The impact of on education, we cannot get a deeper explanation of the effect of remittance on education and health, because it also depends on the way the household spend the money. Remittance receive The remittance receiving household also have a lower rate of infant mortality and children in early infancy, with greater wage level and higher understanding of choice than households which do not get remittance. But we can see, however, the migration of a parent may also cause children and parent psychology. Therefore, the complete cost of benefit balance must calculate for each family. And then we go to next, impact of remittance on poverty. In many developing countries or recipient countries, the transfer of money has become an ever larger source of foreign finance as the currency inflow decreases, because they are major stable source of foreign currency. Shipment companies are also likely to panic investor and prevent rapid reveal in the current account during crisis. In the one cross-country study of 71 developing countries found a 10% increase in per capita official international remittance will produce a 3.5% decline in the share of people living in the poverty. And then we go to the impact of remittance on the economic growth. The impact of remittance enables us all to engage in high-grade economic activities that can be more profitable in the absence of migration and reduce poverty. On the other find that remittance improve financial access and financial development and therefore stimulate growth for the economic growth. So, an increased small business investment in migrant sending area, migrant remittance rise domestic saving and improve financial intermediation, which can improve growth prospect for the country role. So, that's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Amelia binti Nasham. My matric number is 272394. So today I will present about example in one developing country that can reduce poverty and meet other development objectives. So first, what is development objective? So here is the development objective. First, to increase the availability and widen the distribution of life-sustaining goods. Second is to raise the standard of living, include economic needs. Economic needs like greater salary, jobs, and non-economic needs like education, knowledge. And third, to expand the range of economic and social choice. So next, what is the example of development country? So I have got Bangladesh is an example of developing country that may reduce the poverty, and Bangladesh also still meet the developing goals. So firstly, Bangladesh has achieved significant advance in key HDI in recent years. Bangladesh also is ranked 136 out 189 nation in 2018 UNDP HDI statistical update with 0.608. So since 2000s, Bangladesh has reduced poverty, and between 2010 to 2016, the country was poverty-free. So here is the graph of Bangladesh achieved strong poverty reductions from 2000 until 2016. We can see the graph is been decreased. The poverty been decreased, and this is the good achievement from Bangladesh. So next, here is the poverty reduction strategy from Bangladesh to achieve developing goals. First, increase in worker productivity, increasing farm income, improving poor access to production input, and institutional finance. Last is expand the employment opportunity. So next, we can see that Bangladesh has successfully achieved a few things that make their country as a developing country. So here is the target and achievement from Bangladesh to reduce the poverty. Firstly, they want to end poverty in all its form everywhere. So by 2016, 12.9% of the population was living in extreme poverty, while 24.3% were poor. The government is committed about lifting its inhabitants out of poverty. So the World Bank defined the international poverty line as the proportion of the population living on less than $101.19 per day in 2011 international price. So the World Bank estimates these poverty requirements in order to compare poverty level across nations. So next is the target and the target and achievement from Bangladesh to improve to reduce the poverty is to end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. So Bangladesh also have achieved amazing achievements to food productions. They have a vegetable productions with demands fruits produced in the biggest quantity and with high quality, and they are exports to the other country also. So this is the big achievement from Bangladesh. The Ministry of Agriculture is committed to achieving the SDG. So Bangladesh might meet the MDG objective of hunger reduction from 66% in 1990 to 32.6% in 2014. 1 year ahead of schedule is to 22% in 2070. So this is the good achievement from Bangladesh to make sure to end the hunger and achieve their food security. So Bangladesh was ranked 68th in the global hunger index in 2018 and now rising to 88th in 2019. Next is to ensure healthy life and promote well-being for all at old age. So Bangladesh aims to ensure health and well-being for people at old age. So they provide the next door service offered by community clinics with free medication for every 6,000 rural residents. Bangladesh also was awarded the Soft Award Digital Hub for Digital Development in 2011 for achieving SDG 4 and 5. Bangladesh also target to end the AIDS, malaria, and other infectious illness outbreaks. They are also keeping track of the incidents and detection rates. Government also provide free medication and other services to HIV patients. So next is the Bangladesh achievement in using information communication technology for health. They also provide at the community clinic and other places where workers are employed, laptops and tablets have been supplied. So next is ensure inclusive and equitable quality education, promote learning opportunity for all. So this is a Bangladesh focus on elementary and lower secondary education competence, as well as guaranteeing children access to high quality education. They provide high quality early childhood development, technical, vocational and university education, and also vocational trainings. And next, in 2011, Bangladesh government created the National Skill Development Policy, NSDP. The NSDP integrates formal and non-formal education policy as well as youth and training programs. So this the plans from Bangladesh to achieve the quality education for all. So next is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. So the Bangladesh targets to assist women and girls achieve better health and educational results for their life. So this includes the right women to be free of violence and compassion, and we can see that the women have a right to be free and include discrimination against women in the workplace and the legal system. Discriminations restrict to low skill, low paying, or unpaid work in the practice. Among these disadvantages are women economic empowerment, access to control over productive assets, resources, and services. Bangladesh is an example of a country where women hold the majority of position in national legislature and government. So this is the table, the proportion of female members in the parliament 1991 until 2019. So we can see from 1991, women representation in national parliament was extremely restricted, but women representation in parliament increased to 20.88% in 2019 from 12.73% in 1991. So this is the good achievement from Bangladesh with target to proportion of female members in the parliament. That's all from me. So what I can conclude here, Bangladesh has very improved their achievement for target to be a developing country. So that's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Cha Chen Fen, metric number 262349. The part I'm going to present is 6.0 Conclusion and Policy Recommendation. Based on the research, data analysis and literature review, remittance do have a great effect on reducing poverty and bring improvement of economic development in the recipient country. Generally, the result and the study show that an increase in 1% in remittance can bring reduction of 60% in poverty severity in the recipient country. Besides, the study had also proved that the remittance can bring support and improvement to the economic growth of the recipient countries. The country's household income can also be increased and the standard of living of the household can also be improved as well. Besides, when the advancement of remittance, the foreign exchange reserve in the related country can also be increased. According to research, remittance can also give contribution to output growth if investment met. There will be positive multiplier effect generated if consumption be met. Next, the relationship between remittance and poverty is negative. Poverty severity can be reduced when the advancement of remittance. Remittance can also bring good impact to domestic income of one country. Besides, remittance also play a vital role of foreign finance. They have positive impact to GDP growth. Besides, the remittance can also help to generate positive multiplier effect. Remittance can also help to improve the living standard of households and families in the recipient country. This is because sending money from migrants to their families who live in recipient country, they can help to improve the living standard and also can help to improve the economy of the recipient country. When they have enough money, their purchasing power can be increased, so that they will increase their consumption, the demand increase, and it will increase the GDP. Besides, they will no longer face a poverty problem. They can use the money to meet their basic necessity. And when they have enough money, their health can be improved and the education level of their child and others also can be improved as well. The result also show that they have highly improved their health problem. They have highly ability to accept more standard health education. Data also show that recipient flow to low and middle income countries have been increased from 1990 to 2019. The amount is increasing year by year, which is a positive. There are some policy recommendations for the government. Among it is the first a reduction of transaction cost of remittance transfer. When the transaction costs have been reduced, it can encourage more people to transfer the remittance and it can improve the remittance. The second is strengthening of the formal financial infrastructure. By strengthening the formal financial infrastructure, the process of transferring will be more smooth and it can also encourage people to do the remittance. And the fourth is improvement and increase the assessment to financial service. Some of the people do not acknowledge the access to the financial service and therefore they do not do it. If the government can improve and increase the access to financial service, it can encourage the remittance also. And for the remittance income, government can establish tax exemption and also record some incentive to attract investment with income tax break. So that's all from me, and that's all from D&E Group 8. Thank you.